and I have secured All India rank 11 in this year's civil services examination. And I come from an engineering background, so I have completed my electronics and communications engineering. So I've graduated in 2022, and since then I started preparing for UPSC exam. So this is my second attempt at UPSC, and I've secured this 11th rank in my second attempt. In the previous first attempt, I could not clear prelims. So this is my personal brief introduction, and I will give the credit of this exam's clearance to my parents and my teachers. And this particular ambition of becoming a civil servant was there in my brain back in my schooling days. So as and when I progressed through college and university, this particular dream became stronger, and I decided to pursue the civil services. So then I'll start by telling about the prelims preparation. The book list and the resources I'll comment down in this video, and the UPSC Time channel, they'll pin it down so that you can refer through the book list. And as far as prelims preparation is concerned, I'll tell that there are 4 important subjects in general studies which I call the foundational subjects. So they are the polity, history, economy, and environment plus geography. So these 4 are the building blocks for the preparation. Once you are strong with these 4, the portion of your prelims paper, the GS paper especially, becomes very easy for you, because the static understanding of these subjects is very important. And when it comes to the CSAT paper, we know that there are 2 sections, the reading comprehension and the math part. I'll come to the process of preparation and solving those papers in a while. So first, let me discuss what is needed for prelims preparation. So first things first, certain subjects are very important, so much so that you have to revise them thoroughly. So for example, let's take polity as a subject. So many of us are coming from other different educational backgrounds, not just humanities. So we have very little understanding of these subjects initially. But as and when we go through the preparation, we understand these subjects. It is important that we collect important data or important topics from these subjects and revise them time and again. For example, if we take polity, we have the articles, the constitutional articles, and we have the important chapters like parliament, center-state relations, and some things like miscellaneous things like the amendments. We remember a lot of these, but initially what happens is that we feel it a lot, like literally we feel that there are a lot of topics or these minute factual information to memorize. So for that, you have to break down the syllabus into different aspects. For example, I used to just note down what are all the important polity articles, constitutional articles. For example, say we know the fundamental rights and directive principles, but what are beyond them? So we have some other articles like 356, the emergency articles, and in between also we have some important articles. So I used to make one A4 size sheet, and on which I used to write all the important articles by myself. I understand that there are already certain maps and these factual data sheets that are available online, but I prefer writing it by our own selves, because in this process we not only just give it a glance, but few information and these little factual things, they get seated in our brain. So I advise candidates to write on their own. So it is not too much, just a single page of articles. Once you write them and paste it on your wall, you can give a glance to it every day, and naturally you will be aware of many of the important polity articles. So this is something to do with the factual stuff. And there are similar things for the other subjects like the maps for geography, wherein we have the map pointing for rivers, mountains, and all of them. And also if we take the environment subject, so we have the national parks, endangered species, and wildlife sanctuaries or biosphere reserves, what are all the national parks and protected areas included in one particular biosphere reserve. So all of these important topics, you can just make maps and you can give it a glance each and every day, so that this kind of information gets seated in your brain, and this also will act as an engaging activity for you in the prelims preparation. And other than that, if I talk about the economy, the subject economy, as we know, this subject is very practical. So while you are preparing economy, make your topics or make your static very clear, and once you're clear with your static, you can solve certain questions. And here I'll recommend you to solve a book called Eco 550, so in which there are almost 500 plus MCQs on various economy topics. So once you are done with your economy syllabus, you can just practice those MCQs, and this will make your conceptual understanding far better. And there are other important subjects like geography, wherein static understanding, crystal clear understanding of topics is very clear. So accordingly, you can schedule your preparation days, and you can plan the number of hours or number of days for different subjects according to your own interest. And when it comes to CSAT, firstly, in my first attempt also, I did not clear the CSAT cutoff. So it was 66.66, I guess. So I did not clear that also. So there are certain changes that I did in my second attempt. For example, I started understanding different topics that are handpicked by the UPSC to ask in the prelims CSAT paper. For example, in 2023 ka paper, we have seen that number system questions were asked a lot, and also probability, permutations and combinations. So questions from these topics are asked more in number. So I observed that these topics are very much important. So for the 2024 attempt, I prepared these topics, and additionally I also prepared the percentages and other important topics. So what is the material for preparation for CSAT? There is no absolute material, but yes, you can understand, you can identify the PYQ themes. So from each of these topics, just identify what are the PYQs given and try solving them. After you solve them, you have to make a proper sheet. So for example, I'll show you what I made. So this is one sheet wherein I have written what are the common mistakes, common traps in CSAT. Like, I'll upload it soon in my Telegram channel. So there are certain important references that I have noted in this. So for example, check all the numbers given in the question. So these are certain minute mistakes we do under the pressure of those 2 hours. So for example, blood relation questions. So we tend to forget the gender after identifying the answer. So that is something. And for statement type questions and something like the overlook type mistakes. So there are certain traps and mistakes that we do. And similar is the thing for reading comprehension. See, I have also made something similar to this for reading comprehension. So I have noted that when there are certain extremities given in the question, like very sweeping generalizations, so and certain words like must, inherently, only. So according to these words, I have to be very careful whether the question is going too extreme or whether the question is actually very simple. So I have to identify these, and we will learn to analyze this only when we are thorough with the PYQ practice. So for CSAT questions, I would probably recommend for you to go through the PYQs and then give certain mocks. But as far as reading comprehension is concerned, I think no mock test will come close in the standard of the UPSC reading comprehension. So carefully practice reading comprehensions